Melon Sugar podcast. And I'd always like to thank you for just listening to our serious shows, like lovely podcasts, everyone around the world. And as usual, it's me, your host, Ked, and I'm here with my other host, Delani. And as always, like to tell everybody, thank you to our listeners on YouTube. Delali, could you believe we are now like 400 subscribers on YouTube with the channel name Melon Sugar Podcast?
Wow.
I was very, very shocked because I don't know what happened. I think for some time I've not been to like the channel to just check on because it's like when we are done with like an episode, it will just automatically like let me say post to like export to YouTube. So I was like, okay, let me just go and check it out or something. And Friday, Friday, Saturday, it was very, very like you feel great just like watching the count and a whole lot of things. And like very thank you to each and everyone subscribing to the channel. So if you're not subscribed, you can just check the description below and you just see the YouTube link, then you just subscribe. So without wasting my time, let's head into the let me say subject or whatever. So but first, let's just head to our favorite commentator to just tell us what's happening in like social media and the rest. So Delali, take the floor.
Well, a lot has been happening on social media, on Twitter to be precise. The most recent is about a lady who I think is having issues with her former employer. Because I don't really know the details of the issue, I wouldn't really want to delve so much into it. But I think it's about an aggrieved employee and an abusive employer. And listen, it's this matter reminds me of one of at my first job actually, and this was right after senior high school. And I don't want to go I don't want to go into details of this job because if I go into details you'll be shocked because this job is it's owned by my auntie. I don't know if she's my auntie or my cousin, but it's something like that. I think we are cousins. I'm telling you. So you would expect that for a family member, you expect to be treated at least a certain way. You wouldn't expect your family to cheat you, you understand, or to maltreat you or to treat you badly. But listen, it was horrible. After I left myself, like I quit the job. I had to go and look for a job else.
You were right.
I really understand. Charlie. I was shocked. So I can understand where the lady is coming from. However, I also feel the way she went about it isn't the right way. You get it? Consider the fact that, listen, whatever job you were doing there, you were being paid for it. So you coming on social media, asking people who have subscribed to the company's page or following the company's page, saying they should go and unfollow the page, I think isn't the right thing to do. So with that matter, I think we'll probably talk about it later during the discourse. And then what's again happened on social media this week
with Hilda Baci, like getting the world record.
Hilda Baci, that was. And we've been waiting for it for a very long time. We're just waiting. People at a point in time, personally, I really thought at a point in time I felt she was not going to be recognized because of certain things I had read on Twitter about how some people get this recognition from Guinness Book of Records. So I was a bit scared for her, but I'm happy. I'm happy she has been recognized, and now she currently is the record holder. Big up to her. And then also we can't
congratulate Chef Dammy, or what's her name? Is that
Dammy, yeah.
Dammy? Oh, 100 hours, 3 days. Whoa, she's a record holder. Seriously. Someone was like, she's the new Casio Cafe, like the new Casio watch. And I was just laughing under the post.
Yeah.
Seriously, Nigerians are just breaking.
But we have the problem now is there are quite many irregularities with hers, because I learned. Listen, I wasn't following, but from what I've read on Twitter, I learned there was a point in time where there was a break in the transmission, and then in the live streaming, so I learned they went off for a quite
quite
hours. They
some
were
time
off for
because
some
for
hours.
me it was mostly just about dancing. And for me, one thing that rocked me was how she was dancing. It's like she was so happy doing it, and I think we watch, and I think like that's what made people to love how maybe she's also wanting to break that record. So let's see. And from what I heard, they said he didn't notify the Guinness Book of Record. Yeah, apparently. So she can just try again. She can
but then
just try and try again.
Yeah, but then Guinness Book of Records have come out to say that even though she didn't notify them, they would review the evidence they have, the videos they have, and then take it up from there. So, and listen, from everything, from all indications, I think it would be advisable that she goes through the whole process again, which means she would have to try and then break it all over again because of what happened during the first time. So listen, speed and light to her. We wish her all the best if she tries to break it. She should. Let's see how that turns out.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, one other news that was very major was the arrest of Trump.
Yes.
The indictment. That was quite major. That was quite major. Well, what do you think of it? What do you make of it?
For me, I'm of the notion that, like, okay, so let me just share my opinion. For me, I'm of the notion he shouldn't have been indicted because every record, I think they have the Presidential Records Act, and as a president, he has like the privilege to take some of the documents to, let me say, his house or maybe anywhere he deems fit, or maybe anywhere they deem fit by the Secret Service. And I think it was about him not bringing it back on time or something. And for them to indict him, I'm not sure it's something that can be done. Because for me, you see, having a topic about this is somehow kind of crazy, because you see on social media there were just people with the Democrats and the Republicans all just clamping around like a whole lot of stuff. But for me, I would just say he shouldn't have been indicted, because with what I was reading, there are people who have even taken some home that they've not been indicted, and even the current president is even undergoing investigation for files he had with him since he was a Senate and when he also was a vice president, and for that one, even they don't even know if it was declassified or what. But for him, he's a president and he's entitled to keep it. Not let me say necessarily keep it, but he can take it with him, then return it back to the archive. So for me, I think it's more of politically motivated kind of thing. And you see, I now understand why people say America is becoming like an African country, because you could just watch on TV, seeing playing whatever is happening, like you are watching like an African thing or something, or let me say a country from the third world. But it's their process. Let's see where it leads to. So that's what I'll say about it.
So for me, personally, this is what I think about it. I agree with what you said about it being politically motivated. Listen, I feel that the Democrats know very well that if Biden contests with Trump, listen, their chances of the winning is very slim. So what they are trying to do is that they are looking for ways to eliminate Trump from the race, so that at least the Republicans would have no other option but then to present a new face.
Mm-hmm.
You get it, and that's why they are going through all this stress. But do I think Trump will be jailed? I doubt. I strongly doubt, because if they manage to indict him and then it goes through the whole court process and then he is jailed, then it will be them drawing the first blood, and it won't end well for them. Because when you look at the Democrats Party, listen, it's like they are like people living in glass house throwing stones. For instance, Biden himself and then his son are currently, I don't know if they are even under investigation, but then there's solid evidence of they taking part in some more practices of corruption and then bribery. You get it? So if these people really want to take this route and they are unfortunate and then the Republicans come into power, listen, it will be a bloodbath. It won't end well for them, especially considering the age of Biden. His son, I know, definitely at some point would have to go to jail because of all the evidence available. You get it? There was a time, I don't know if I posted it or I have it in my drafts, but at some time back I wrote something. I don't know. I'm still not sure if I posted it or kept it in my drafts on Twitter. But then I wrote that the NPP are playing the Democrats. They are literally using the Democratic playbook, the Democrats playbook. It's as if what the Democrats are doing is what the NPP are doing here.
Oh, no.
For instance, doing the...
Because
it is.
No.
Relax.
No, because wait, relax.
Listen.
Because
listen.
Because if we are to compare the NPP to let me see, if we are comparing them, you can see that the NPP is more conservative and the NDC is more liberal. But let's just say something.
No, not at all.
It is.
Not at all.
No, it is, because they are all... Wait. The NPP, they are all... The NPP, the Conservative Party of the UK, the Tories, the Republicans, they are all under one, let me say, party association. You see? But with the NPP, they are conservative. But for them, they think they are more liberal, kind of leaning to socialism, kind of a bit of everything. But with the NEC, you could see they are a bit leaning to, let me say, the Democrats. And for them, they are more pragmatic about some things. But they've removed, let me say, some serious thing that maybe the Democrats will want LGBTQ, but the NDC they don't want it. You see the value. But
so
for me,
let me try and explain.
Okay.
No, so this this why I feel they are playing the Democrats playbook. First of all, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Democrats in the US set up misinformation. That was guess who else has a misinformation department in the world? The NPP. And this was set by Apoy Nkrumah and his team. And for them, the sole aim was for them to tackle misinformation. But then it isn't about misinformation, just as the Democrats. For them, it wasn't about misinformation. It was about tackling other narratives from other opposing views. You get it? And that's why when the COVID came, all other views or all other studies from other medical doctors and physicians and whatever were blocked. And that's why even you could not post opposing views on either of the social media platforms because they had some arrangements with the social media platform to ban and also to block all other views. Guess
That's
who also
why
has
Elon
that?
Musk
The
bought
NPP.
Twitter.
Exactly. That's why he bought Twitter.
Wait,
and then you relax. I'm coming.
Compare the
Relax.
what
I'm coming. I'm building my. Relax. Relax. I'm coming.
Okay, I'm listening.
Guess who recently went to court to try and stop their main opponents from
for that
coming election.
Wait. For that matter, I think we have to wait for the courts to just, because for me, I think the court can just maybe, for now, the court says the former president should file his whatever in 14 days. So maybe if he files and maybe they set a date for like the court hearing, they could just strike that one out. And for me, I think it was unnecessary. And I think the man himself who is taking that thing, he wants to be sure because one, he's saying the former president is still, let me say, he's still on government payroll, and I think he was. I think on one of his suits, he was like, for him to stand, Parliament should be the one to vote on him, whatever. So I think for now, let's relax on that one and let's wait for the courts. But for me, I think the case is just bogus. It's not standing, and it's not. Let's just not say it's the NPP who has brought that case. Because I'm sure there are a lot of people who even don't know why that guy is making the case. Maybe it can be from maybe some two people, let me say the godfathers or something, who are just bringing the case. Because we all know the next election in Ghana, it's between John Mahama and, for me, I know Baumia. And I know who the winner will be. So for that one, let's just
So for me, listen, I'm not even going to dwell on the election. I don't really care what the outcome will be. But then my issue is
you have to
listen. So I have voted twice. I've voted twice.
Me too, twice.
Since I turned 18. And if I tell you during both times I voted for neither of the two, would you believe?
Why?
Because listen, from the very moment I made up my mind I was going to participate in the election, I knew I could. I knew there's no. I could trust these people.
You can't trust them. But
for me, listen. One of my.
For me, I vote for the one.
For me,
I least. Let me say, I vote for the one that I least trust, because the one that you trust, you don't know what he would do. Yeah. So for me, mostly, I think the last time, the 2016, I voted for Ekufad, the MPP. But 2020, I voted for John Mahama. But in voting for him, I didn't want to vote for him because with whatever has happened, I'm still not over that idea. And for me, maybe next year, if maybe I get a chance, I will not vote for him. That's the fact. I won't vote for him because for me, spending my time walking. Let me tell you. That's my.
I have. See, for me, I have already made up my mind. If Mahama, which of course he will, I'm voting for him, and it's a decision. Listen, I made this decision right after NPP. I made this decision right after the NPP won the 2020 election. which I didn't really expect them to win, but then they still won. And it's actually it made me realize that indeed people have not really learned. Because prior to the election, listen, people keep saying, "Oh, COVID-19 came to make things difficult and whatnot." Prior to the election, things were hard. And I've been saying this.
COVID-19 came to make it more hard, and now there's like whatever going on around the world. It's making things very hard.
Ked, let me tell you. Ked, without COVID-19, things would have been as they are now. It's a fact. Because, and if you ask any honest businessman, they will tell you that things, listen, COVID-19 didn't make things expensive. COVID-19 didn't make spare parts that were so kind of expensive. It didn't make transportation go high. It didn't make clearing your goods at the port expensive. Prior to COVID-19, clearing your goods was already expensive, and people who were importing things from outside would testify to this. Where I used to work, we used to import a lot of things. Like we almost importing things like almost every week. So I knew how expensive and difficult it was. There was a time when our goods come, for instance, we leave them there for months before we clear them, because clearing them had become so expensive. COVID-19, listen, you can't blame COVID-19 for that. You can't blame Ukraine and Russia for that. Things were already hard. And prior to 2016 election, when it was obvious that Akufo-Addo was going to win, I told people that, listen, from the very onset, I knew this man lacked. Listen, he lacked everything. He wasn't really interested in transforming the country. The man just wanted to be president.
Please don't say that.
And after the first 4 years, oh come on, I'm being honest here. He just wanted to be president, and the first 4 years justified my thoughts. It just told me that, listen, what we were thinking was right. But I told people, and for me, I thank God
to be president. Because for me, this time, the second
listen, do you know why? Do you know why I'll vote for Mahama?
Why?
Hey, we can listen, and this is something that we shouldn't be taking. If listen, do you realize that whenever they are coming for the first term, whenever they are seeking for their first term, they never tell us that you can't do anything in 4 years. They only tell us when they are seeking for second term.
And the same thing,
after the first time, and then they go like, you know what, you can't really do anything.
You and I are here.
And that's
you come and you.
That's why I didn't vote for him in 2016.
Mama won't. But let's say maybe he wins 2024 and he comes back. Yes, let's not all like joke and just like let me say yes, right? Just like maybe in our language we say we are laughing at ourselves. We know the man is just coming to just come and get some things, and just because for me, I think for his second coming, there is nothing, and for me, the message that he's showing, like he's giving, is not vibing with me. It's not vibing with even like an NDC lady who even lives in my area. Because for her, she's like, oh, she's tired of this NPP government, but because they don't have anyone apart from him, he's entitled. Like let me say, she has to, whatever what come may. Because she's an NDC person, she has to support him. Because if there was another candidate that was maybe more, let me say, like had a new vision or something, like new kind of vibe and all that, she would have just clicked with him. But for her, she's just like supporting because she's tired of this MP. But for her, she's not even sure she will even vote for Mama when it comes in December 7, 2024. So that's the delight.
See, I could have voted for the NDC in 2020 when I went out to vote, but I didn't. And that was because at the time, one, So I almost felt that the majority of people shared into my sentiment and were experiencing what's experience or what a lot of businesses were experiencing. So I thought they would be wise enough to not vote for the NP for a second term. However, after after 8 years, because listen, next year will be their 8th year, and that will be 2 terms. After 2 terms, if I just oppose what they have done to what the NDC did in 8 years, they are nowhere close. And listen, we can debate. Listen, we can debate all we want, but it's just the facts. It's the fact of the matter is most of the things these people are showing us proof of evidence for what they have done are projects that were started by the previous government. So for me as someone who is into partisan politics, as someone who is in the middle, I look at that. I'm like, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced enough. I look at them like, yo, what really have you done?
But
Okay,
you
you've done
should know
free
that
SHS, yes, free SHS, very good initiative.
development and a whole lot of stuff. Because let's just say with like Muhammad, like abandoned, like they could have done more in completing them, but they are also, let me say, doing some stuff. Because I think last time we went to
what have they introduced? Look at NAPCO. Listen, I know people who
NAPCO is
took
one
part,
of the
who
most, let
took
me
part in
say,
NAPCO.
the most heartbreaking thing that I ever saw it be like going down. Because for me, when I went for my national service, there were 4 NAPCO people in my office. And when I went, the vibe and everything, it was like they had learned on the job to the extent that even when our bosses were not around, they were able to like manage the whole office, even for like a week, a month, some months. So I think, and for me, they like with how they learned everything, I was able to learn how to like maybe be like survive at the office on my own, work on things on everything. And for me, watching them not getting a job, and it was only you. Do you know one funny thing? Wait. Sorry to our listeners, because today we are more like discussing our like local, like Ghana politics and stuff. So you can just continue listening to it. Delali, one of the funny thing was that, do you know when they were done, I was able to get retained with one of the ladies at the office, and they transferred us. The other two, they had to pay money to be employed. Seriously. And the amount that they had to pay was very, very huge. And the last one, the guy, he had to wait for a whole year without collecting any, let me say, salary and anything for him to get a lack. Like, I don't know, his lack blossomed and they were able to retain him still as an IT guy at where I work at. So for me, I think it was a policy that it was very good, but with the ending, it was very bad. It was very bad, and sometimes I hear on radio there are people who are like they are still NAPCO, and I'm like, what? You people are still there? Oh, you people should have just like they should just cancel it. And I think there's like for me talking about NAPCO is very 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 sad. It's very sad.
So again, it goes back to what I was saying. Good initiative for implementation, and it's the same with almost all their initiatives. The free SHS, the NAPCO, one district, one factory, one constituency, 1 million. It's the same. It's the same throughout. They had very good initiatives, but then the implementations were just poor. Poor. They just lacked the brains to implement some of these projects. Because listen, from the very beginning, when I heard we were going to when we were going to have free SHS, like, yo, listen, this is a very great initiative. So I was expecting that, one, we are a country with so many unemployed youths. We get it. Most of our youth are unemployed. So I was thinking that, what's okay, if you want to make high school education free, then what do? You should make it in a way that after 4 or 5 years, it doesn't add up to unemployment. However, it bridges the gap between it bridges a certain gap between the unemployed youth and then those coming out of school. So what do? Instead of making the whole senior high school education free, you make the technical education free so that you push people into technical skills. People who can be who be more able to employ themselves after senior high schools. So you push them into technicals. You make they go, you make them more interested to do technical courses so that they don't come and adapt to their already inexistent employment market. You get it? Because listen, the truth matter is we don't have jobs for most of these people. So when you have arts, then what they come out and some of them can't even further to the university. How many people can see out of the people who complete senior high schools every year? How many are able to continue to the university? Just few. I think about a quarter of them. You get it? So then what happens? Most of these people, because they don't even have their knowledge isn't up to standard. Some of them end up having to do some of these menial jobs. But then if they had done technical skills like electrical engineering, cooking, building a construction, metal works, these are courses that right after school, your chances of you getting employment is very high. You get it. So as I said, it goes back to the implementation. They just didn't take their time to think through it properly, to implement it in a way that it actually impacts the economy and then the employment market. It's sad. It's sad. However, these are just some of the things I look at and I go like this. After listen, and they could have rectified most of these things right after the first 4 years. They could have rectified it. But then out of one, arrogance, ignorance, they just felt, let's just leave it as it is. And you look at it and it has not really impacted the lives of many Ghanaians as they would have wanted it to.
For me, I think it has, because with a lot of people in my area, it has. I think for them, what they thought of was how to maybe, I think one thing that was maybe the important factor was how to get a lot of people to be maybe like literate, like know book and stuff, and like know how to maybe like get control, because I think for them, when they saw the statistics, like people drop out in high school, like junior high school, they were very worried. So, okay, let's just raise it to senior high school. So for me, I think with us going this topic, if we want to just discuss it, because I'm not in the energy for a topic like this, but the lally, by now we will just be screaming and shouting. But we just be screaming. For me, I'm more conservative person, and I'm more like aligned. I think my dad aligns with NBC, and I'm more aligned with MPA. So for me, sometimes I get kind of. You see the thing, I know the government, but there are some things that for me, I just want a new thing. It's just like I think I'm one of those youth who we want like new face, new everything. So yeah. And with the impact, okay, let's say, so with the impact like in political, the impact on social media is on like political like voices, discussions, and how like maybe social media is affecting like creating a whole lot of then like stuff. Creating a whole lot of stuff. How will you say?
Good. Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear.
I was like, so with the impact, whatever you were saying. So let's channel it to social media. So what we see the impacts, like for me, like people now take social media to like denigrate others, to silence their opponents and whatever. Like today's show is becoming more political. I like it though. So what do you think, like the impact of social media on political discussion, like choices, and because for me, I think it has really helped me a way back. When it's really getting into people's hands that I mean that's actually I'm always happy Elon Musk bought Twitter. And it was just, people were just losing their mind with him buying it. And you see, I've always said, let people be free to say whatever they say. It doesn't matter. You are not the math. You are just waiting to listen. If you don't listen, just pass by it. If you want to listen, you listen to it. But if you don't want to, like, maybe take into account of whatever the person has say, then you just brush it off. But don't just silence the person, or don't just silence like the mouthpiece of everything. And I think with a whole lot of things, like some years ago, like today, it's relatively like safer to speak up your mind on Twitter and a whole lot. So I think for that one, I'm very, very thankful for. And now you get a whole lot of people like undermining a whole lot.
I think the best things. I think one of the best things that has happened to us people is Elon buying Twitter.
Yeah.
Because had he not bought it, there are still a lot of things that we wouldn't have known. If he had not bought Twitter, there are some things uncovered that we would not have known.
Yeah.
But then for him buying it, opened up the conversation. Now people were able to put out their findings and what they had gathered concerning the whole vaccines and its effectiveness and what it does and what it doesn't. You get it? But then prior to that, when Jack owned it, these conversations were not allowed. You'd be either censored or banned or blocked from Twitter completely for even daring to raise a conversation concerning it. Yeah. So listen, it's one of the best things that has happened to us, and then that's why for me, I don't tolerate any Elon slander on Twitter. If I see anyone who tries to slander Elon, I'll just block you because you dare not. Listen, because I feel a lot of people have not really realized what he has done. But then in few years we will, because even as of now there are certain things you can't even talk about on Facebook. You'll be blocked.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You get it. And when you do that, you see, when you do that, you are obstructing free speech. You get it. And one of the major instruments for democracy is free speech. People being allowed to say what they have to say respectfully though. But people need to be allowed to share their opinions and what they think on certain matters. The moment you try to stop people from sharing their opinion, then it's more like you rising against democracy, which is the what we are looking for. We are not living in Banana Island. You get it? We are not living in some. Let's say even in Sudan, people are allowed to share their opinions. You get it? So I think when the moment we realize the moment people realize what Elon has done, it will probably be too late. I hope it isn't, but then it will probably be too late.
For me, I think it's not too late, and I think with people getting to hear other people's opinion and a whole lot, because when sometimes I go to like the trends and there are some topics that are trending now, I'll be like, okay, let me just click on it and see what, and you get to have, you see people having like unfavoring opinion, and like you read them and you're like, okay, you can get something out of it, but sometimes it's just crazy because with the misinformation, and I think people have been so like brainwashed into a whole lot of stuff. So even when you're even saying the right thing, or someone is even saying the truth, they're like, no, they'll even bring you a fact, like they'll even like develop another fact to just come and to come and counter whatever you are saying. But you read them, you be like you just be laughing, and it has made a lot of people to be open. And I think it has, for me, I think Twitter has helped Africa. What do you say? A lot.
So it has. But then I feel we are not really taking advantage of it. And I feel we are not really paying attention to the most vital things. We are not paying attention to the most essential things. Because listen, as at Saturday, that was yesterday, I heard a COVID-19 jingle on radio. And for me, I was worried because one, in other countries, scientists are trying to understand are trying to uncover the effects, the negatives actually, the effects of the vaccine and how it's affecting people. Whereas here, till now, I have not heard anything concerning it. Do you know? There's a find that there's an experiment. Really, okay, well, I wouldn't say experiment, but there's a finding that states that a lot of women who took the jab, who took the vaccines, who got pregnant within the COVID-19 period, more than 50% lost their babies, had miscarriages.
Really?
And it also shows that it shows that miscarriages between people who took the jab and people who didn't take the jab is immense. People who took the jab are like losing their babies like crazy. Whereas when both people who didn't take the jab, only a few, these things have been happening. However, it looks as if it has skyrocketed among people who took the jab. And listen, doctors are saying that the side effects of the vaccine, listen, it's not even it's yet to be uncovered, and these things are things that will need close to 10 years to know the full effect of it.
Seriously,
and then you come here,
I also
you don't even care.
Because I took the job, and for me, taking the job, seriously, because for me, at my workplace, we were told to.
Do you know where I didn't?
Because if you've not taken the job, your boss won't even sit by you. And you know what? Surprisingly, my boss didn't take the job. He didn't take the job. It's quite funny. And we asked him why. He said no. If all of us will take the job, he's protected. Because that means that we won't, for us when coming to the office, we won't like carry the virus and bring it. And for him, he knows his wife, the children will take it. So even if he has it, it won't be given to his wife. And I'm like, oh, this man. Because I was so pissed. And for me, I felt very weak, seriously. I felt very weak that whole day. I slept. I don't know. I think that was the day that I slept.
So do you know there's an athlete in Germany who got paralyzed after taking the jab?
Really?
Yes. So as we speak now, the vaccines, the Pfizer or whatever, they give a monthly allowance of I think $800 something every month, and it's crazy because so for me the reason I refused to take the jab was because do you know any casualty that's sustained
it's
after
the
you take the jab, you can't sue the
you can't sue the pharmaceutical company. And I think that's
you can't sue the pharmaceutical exactly.
It's very, I think, stupid. And for me, if they would have not spent
So when I found out about that, I was like, Charlie, you know what? Nah, if I can't sue the pharmaceutical company for something that has happened because of their vaccine I have taken, then really it's as if they are trying to shield themselves from something they are aware is likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then also when I realized, so initially the whole story was, if you take the vaccine, then you won't contact the virus. So now you are safe from the virus. Then they later came out to say that, what, the first vaccine isn't enough. You need a second. Then you need a booster. I was like, Charlie, nah, I'm not even taking this thing anymore.
Because for me, after
If after one jab,
taking the
I have to take multiple, I was like, I won't
I
take
was
it.
like, seriously, what's with the boosters and everything? I'm tired. I can't, because even with the one job that I even like, with the one job that I took, the Lali, close to 3 days. One day was off, but the other 2 days I had to take it to work, and it's like it's like your, it's like your hand, it's not working properly or something. You'd be like, oh, seriously, what is worrying me? What is happening to me? And it's like, I was like, nah, this one. Thankfully, it was the one. I think what I was thinking was the one that you just go for the one job. Because with the double one, I couldn't have taken it though.
It's funny. It's funny because there are like so many inconsistencies with this whole COVID thing. Initially, when people to say that the virus was made in a lab. Where if you say that it's termed misinformation,
Yeah.
only for us to later find out that it is true, that indeed the thing was made in a lab.
It was made in the lab and supposedly founded by the scientists. That was actually what was the thing? Fighting it during the pandemic, and I was like, seriously? I was like,
It's
seriously?
crazy.
But seriously, that's why for me, I always think, well, you might never know what will happen. And for a friend was like, this one, there will be another like pandemic coming, and with that one,
Oh yeah,
he's always praying his.
there's another one coming.
And I'm like, oh God, we are tired. We are tired because you see, with life
Listen, he's
and with how some people are doing, I think most of the big pharmaceutical companies, they want money. So I think they will continue creating more viruses, and supposedly, just like how this one leaked, maybe escaped into the public, there might be some that are even deadlier than this one. Mhm. And for me, what I'm always trusting for is that in Africa, we didn't like have that serious, like, let me see, it didn't cause like significant harm like how it caused like Asia.
Yeah, the casualties was not.
It was very
The casualties was not. Yes.
Because God knows that.
And even with that, listen.
The rally, then most people would have been gone. That's why our immune system is very strong. Very, very strong.
And for me, that's why I feel it's very important that we do an investigation and find out the people who were affected by the COVID-19, the people who really died. Let's see where they had been to, if there are people who came out from, who came from outside. Because I have a feeling, because when in the US, when they did a little bit of investigation, they realized that most of the people who died through COVID-19 already had underlying health conditions. And that most of them I think they were above the age of 60 or 70.
Yeah.
People between the ages of 1 to the 30s or 40s, only a few people actually died. And those were the people who had the underlying health conditions.
And that's
why I feel that we need people like
that. That's why I don't understand, because if they were saying people who died from, like, let me say, from 60, like 50s going with underlying conditions. For me, I thought when it had come to Africa, it would have maybe killed a lot of these like grown-ups, like people who are actually like
Yes.
on like let me say like who are on many illness, but for them rather for them rather some of them even got to even live past it, and I'm like really.
Exactly, exactly, and that's why and that's why people keep making jokes about if people know other people who had a COVID-19 and then lost their lives, because it's almost look as if like you can't really point out to someone and say that I know this person, the person had COVID and is dead now.
Because in Africa here, it wasn't so, let me say, intense like how it was in the US, Europe, and Asia. It was very, 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 I think, very, very kind of something. But for what I'm always thankful for is that here,
The truth of the matter
it
is,
was calm. Yeah, you were saying something.
yeah, the truth of the matter is, even the people who had it here and who lost their lives, most of them were from other countries. Like they
Yeah,
flew in from
China.
other countries
Yeah,
due to the
true.
pandemic. Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. These people. I'm a bit disappointed in our doctors and in our scientists. They should, this is the time they have to, like show us that day to day, they have to, they have to do some findings. They have to investigate, do some research on these things.
Disappointed in them
You get it? See,
because with their research and everything, is the Europeans, the European governments, they will rather give them the money to do it. So if you are maybe a professor and maybe you know very well this thing was from a lab leak, the lab, will you go and publish it? You won't, because if you know you publish it, or maybe like something, that maybe a funding that you want for a research or something, it won't come again. And we could see on social media there were actually people who were blacklisted, people who were blocked, people who were cancelled because they had like different views about all these things. Yeah. And it's not, let me see, it's not like it's not like they were doing it in like secretly. They were so open about it. If you had like different view of everything, but for me like this, I didn't care because I was like, this sickness should just get out, and finally it's out. So I just thank God it's just out of our life, and I'm hoping none of them comes again because we are tired.
oh, trust me. I think this one, the next one will be deadlier than this. And And then the only positive is the fact that one, now people have realized we can't trust these people. People have realized you can't even trust the World Health Organization. You see, so now with the next one, whatever the instructions will be, there'll be some sort of resistance. People will take it with a pinch of salt. People, of course, because listen, you can't if you lie to people, the next time you come up with something, they will be suspicious of whatever you come up with. They wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take it as they did the first time. That's the only positive now. That's the only positive.
So I think we can end the show, right? The situation has been like, we started from just social media like stuff, and we delve into politics a little, delve into like real hard politics. For me, I think with my realness, you see it. I think we'll just get one episode where we will talk about stuff in Ghana. Our opinion, like there are some things that for me, I try to keep to myself because you might not know who will be listening or something.
Yeah.
It's very cool that we were able to like lift the cover on some things in this country. Because seriously, I always say, let's say Nigerians will say their country is doomed, but for me, I'll say Ghana is okay, but we just have like BS people everywhere. So let's just cope for a new person vision. And with the mama thing, the lady, forget about it. He should really forget about it.
Listen.
Don't laugh. Oh, don't laugh. We are ending the show on a good note. Don't laugh. Just say, okay, you think about it.
Okay, I'll think about it.
We want a new person, even if maybe a new person. Hey, but I want it to be because you might never know what a new person will be bringing. No. Oh God.
See, what I know for sure is that I'm not voting for anyone from the NPP. That I know for sure.
Vote. You vote. You would, but I know a friend.
I'm not voting for anyone from there.
He won't vote anyone. He was the one even 2020 when I had not even like, let me see, woke up from there. He was the one even calling me, hey, the thing, as he's forecasting, the thing they will win again. So when I go and just vote, and I should go for my balance. And I was like, okay. So yeah, it's been 1 hour now. We just brought to you like an episode. I think we've been gone for I think for now it's 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Then we just bring back. We'll make sure we'll sometimes record because you are very busy. So we'll make sure we'll record, get time to record, then just bring you our unfiltered opinion. So I think today's topic will be the opinion. So it will be live for you guys as you are listening now. I'm sure it's live. So, like a big thank you.
When you put,
yeah, you were saying something.
Yeah, when you post it on YouTube, you alert me.
Okay, I will. I think. Wait, I think when it's posted on the Snap, on the Telegram. Hey, sorry, hey. Why? I don't know. Make a Telegram. What is Spotify, Apple Music? I think it automatically, it takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to upload itself on YouTube. So you don't worry.
Okay.
You. And to all those people listening, like, thank you guys for everything, you people. And seriously, our show is, we know you love the show and we want to make it good for you. So you can just support us. So don't let us talk, man. Just click on the support link in the description below and then support us in any way. And if you want us to maybe promote your stuff for you, we can do it for you. So as always, from our favorite co-host, our host, the Lead, and everyone around the world, see you same time, again and again, another time. Bye.
Bye.
I didn't know what to say again.